So my name is Britt, and I thought that I would lead us through a little bit of an after workflow, you could say. Thought process being that if you work in the medical profession, you're kind of on the go all the time, particularly in today's day and age and with the things that are happening currently in the world. And sometimes you're like, I haven't peed in 6 hours and I haven't sat down and I didn't eat lunch and like all of the things. And then you get home and it can be kind of hard to slow down and take a pause. You kind of stay ramped up. And so the intention of this short, like 30-ish minute flow practice is to help downregulate after the stress of a day. So we'll start with some standing shapes. We'll do some sun salutes kind of to keep that energy that we've had during the day kind of moving, and then slow it down to more of a place where we can kind of tap into that rest and digest other part of our nervous system and calm down. So hopefully a transition into either sleep or the rest of our day or whatever it is that we have to do next. So we are going to start class today standing at the top of our mat or our floor space if we don't have a mat. I have 2 blocks, a blanket and a bolster, but know that you don't need those things for class. You don't even need a mat. Blocks, their main purpose is they bring the floor up to meet us. So you can use anything that's a hard object that you can put a little bit of weight on. That could be a toilet paper roll, a water bottle, pretty much anything goes. Bolster and the blanket, they're just for comfort later. So you can snag a pillow, blankets from the bedroom or from the couch. Those all work really great. And the mat is just like a square of rubber that you don't actually need to be on. You can take your yoga into the world and do it anywhere. So we will start at the top of our floor space or our mat, and we're going to just start with some movement. So you've come from a day of moving around and not stopping at any point. So give yourself some movement here. Let it start to be a shape you may have been in a lot during the day, so a standing shape, but roll weight a little bit from side to side, kind of exploring the foundation of the foot. Nice. Starting to articulate from toes back to heel, and heel to toes, and a little side to side. And then let that movement travel up into the knees. So bring a soft bend to the knees and then a straightness. Let the circling of the feet draw into the knees and then maybe even a little bit into the hips. So then maybe start rolling the shoulders up and down, moving clockwise and counterclockwise. Perhaps dropping the head to one side, giving a roll through the neck. A little bit of unstructured, feel-good movement. And then start to glide into your stillness or your Tadasana shape. So from your Tadasana, really start to root down through the feet. So you can even pick the toes up and think big toe mound, pinky toe, and then both sides of the heel. Feel a subtle lift up through the arches. Nice. And then bring a little bit of a softness to the knees. And with that softness, start to articulate the pelvis. Think about cat-cowing forward and backwards. And then find this point where the tail can start to draw down a little bit so that the front side of the abs pull up. Nice. So there should be a little bit of an engagement happening through the legs, through the glutes. And then hug the belly button back towards the spine. As you inhale, find length between each vertebrae. And as you exhale, soften the shoulders down the back. And the head stacks over the shoulders, maybe a subtle tuck to the chin. Nice. And then palms can face towards the front of the room or the space, and then the arms come along the side body. So eyes can be closed or eyelids heavy. And then to start, notice just how you're breathing. So begin to get a read on the physical body. And does the breath move easier through the nose or through the mouth? And is it hanging out in the upper chest, or can it move a little bit lower into the belly? No right or wrong way to breathe. We're taking in and gathering information. What is the breath telling us about how we're doing right now? And then we'll start to control our breath. So visualize that as you breathe in, the lungs fill bottom to top. And as you breathe out, they empty top to bottom. Almost like pouring water into a pitcher. It fills bottom to top. And then as you pour the water into a cup, the pitcher will empty top to bottom. Nice smooth breath in. And smooth breath out. And a few more times just like that. Smooth breath in. And smooth breath out. And start to feel into an evenness between your inhalation and your exhalation. And as you focus on the breath, maybe the mind can start to quiet just a little bit. And then we'll layer a little bit of movement on with our breath. So on your next inhale, reach the fingertips wide and high towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, the hands will float down towards heart center. Once more like that. Breath in, sweep the hands wide and high. Breath out, hands heart center. Adding on from there, inhale, sweep the hands high. Breath out, soft knees fold all the way forward. Breath in, find your halfway lift. Breath out, refold. Inhale, press to the feet, rise all the way up to stand. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Twice more like that, Ardha Sira Namaskar. Inhale, sweep the hands high. Breath out, soft knees, tail behind you, fold forward. Breath in, halfway lift, hug the belly button to the spine. And exhale, refold. Breath in, press through the feet, rise all the way to stand. And breath out, hands heart center. Last time, breath in. Breath out. Breath in. And breath out. Breath in, rise all the way to stand. Breath out, arrive. Nice, adding on to that, inhale, arms sweep high. Breath out, soft knees, fold forward. Breath in, halfway lift. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And exhale, refold. From here, plant the hands on the floor on a block, and then step your right foot back in space. Keep the knee lifted to start. And then from here, magnetize the legs together. So feel the inseams of the legs start to draw in. Nice. And know that commonly we frame the front foot with our hands, but your left hand can come on the inside of the left foot. It creates a little bit more space for the body, and it gives you the opportunity to walk the foot a little bit wider for a foundation that feels supportive. So from here, one more breath in. One more breath out. Drop the back knee down. Untuck the toes, press the shin into the mat. Draw the legs together. Use an inhale, lift the hands high, Anjaneyasana. Nice. Look for an opening through your back thigh here. Take a breath in. And the breath out. And breath in. As you breathe out, hands come down either on the inside of the front foot or framing it. Step back, find the top of a plank here. Nice. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, drop the knees down. Nice. Another breath in. Squeeze the legs together. Exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. 3 waves of the spine. Press the tops of the feet down. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, lower. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, back and down, lift the chest. And exhale, lower. One more with your breath. Big breath in. And full breath out. From here, press into the hands and the knees, lift all the way up through tabletop. Curl the toes under, send it back, downward facing dog. Just pedal out the feet here. And then start to walk the feet closer to one another so that the insides of the feet almost start to touch. Then on your next inhale, sweep the right leg high. And then as you breathe out, step the foot forward, one or many steps to get there. Keep the back left knee lifted, draw the legs together, breath in. Breath out, drop the back left knee down. Inhale, arms rise, Anjaneyasana. Nice. Breath in here. And breath out. And breath in. Breath out, hands come down to frame the front foot. Step back foot to meet front, forward fold. Use an inhale, lift halfway. Exhale to refold. Inhale, press to the feet, rise all the way up to stand. And exhale, hands to heart center. Second side, inhale, arms rise. Exhale, soft knees, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, refold. This time your right foot will step back in space. Keep the knee lifted to start. Or by right foot, I mean left foot. Nice, hug the legs together, take a breath in. And a breath out. Nice. Hands can either frame the front foot or be on the inside of the foot. Take a breath in. Your next breath out, drop the back left knee down, untuck the toes, press the shin into the mat. Draw the legs together from that strength, lift the arms high. Nice, take a breath out here. Breath in. Breath out. Another big breath in. Full breath out. From here, hands come on the inside of the foot, step back, top of a plank. Full breath in here. Breath out, drop the knees. Hug the belly button to the spine, squeeze the legs together, firmness through the glutes. Push all the way down towards the floor. Inhale, sweep forward, baby cobra. Feel the heart lift. Breath out, lower down. Twice more like that. Backside of the body, that strength is what pulls you up. And breath out, lower. One more big breath in, lift up. And breath out, lower. From here, push the floor away through tabletop, all the way back downward facing dog. Nice. Pedal out through the feet here. Walk the feet so that they come closer to one another. Insides of the feet might touch. Inhale, lift the left leg high. As you exhale, step the left foot forward in space. Keep the back knee lifted to start. Your next exhale, drop the back knee down. Inhale, sweep the hands high. And take a breath out here. And breath in. Breath out, hands come down to frame your front foot. Curl the back toes under, back foot meets front foot, forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Keep the neck long here. And exhale to refold. From here, bring a soft bend to the knees. The feet can be wider than hip width. And then take hold of opposite elbows and give yourself a little sway side to side. You can shake out through the head here. And then keeping the hold of the elbows, use your next exhale to start to straighten through the legs. Inhale, rebend the knees. And exhale, find some straightness. Twice more like that. Inhale. And exhale. And breath in. And breath out. From here, the hands will release. Come down to meet the mat, and then step back to your downward facing dog. You can step one foot back and then the other. In your down dog, take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, glide forward, find the top of your plank. As you exhale, drop the knees, and then lower the chest all the way down to meet the floor. Inhale, open up, baby cobra. And then exhale, lower back down, press the floor away, all the way back downward facing dog. Walk the feet together on your next inhale, sweep your right leg high. And then as you exhale, step your foot forward, bring it to the outside of your right foot, lizard pose this time. So we start with the toes facing forward. Press into the heel, and then from the hip, turn the toe out. So the toes point out, action from the hip. So external rotation there. Take a breath in and a breath out. From here, you can drop the back knee down, untuck the toes. Becomes a little bit more of a passive hip opener here. So you can really let the hips fall towards the floor. Then anytime we come into a shape that feels like a really juicy, great stretch, know that you want to find a place where you're not running into a sensation and you're not running away from a sensation. Where's that middle ground where you're not trying to get something, but you're also sitting with what's happening? Nice. So take a breath in here. And a breath out. Another breath in. And a breath out. And from here, plant the hands down, curl the back toes under, step back, downward facing dog. Feet walk together. On your next inhale, sweep the left leg high. And then as you exhale, lizard pose, second side. So left foot comes on the outside of the left hand. Keep the back knee lifted to start. That same action, drive into the heel, rotate the toes out from the hip. Nice. And then to come into your slightly more passive shape, drop the back knee down. Untuck the back toes. And then find your appropriate amount of sensation on this side. So some of us will want to stay more upright. Some folks might lower down. Nice, one more big breath in here. And full breath out. From here, root the hands down, curl the back toes under, push the floor away, and then from that strength, step the left foot back, this time to a top of a plank. And take a breath in. And as you breathe out, drop the knees down. A little bit different this time. So hands are about one hand distance forward. Hug the legs together, belly button towards the spine, 3 push-ups. As you exhale, lower down. Inhale, push the floor away. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. This time, a modified up dog. So let the hips fall towards the floor. And then feel an openness through the chest. Bring a little bit of a firmness to your glutes and a little bit of a pulling in and up of the belly button. Nice. Give yourself a little rock side to side. And then from here, belly button towards the spine. Lift yourself back to sit on your shins. Nice. So from here, your thumbs are facing forward. Rotate the thumbs to face behind you. And then bring the hands to clasp at the low back. From here, nuzzle the shoulder blades together, open up through the chest. Think little baby camel pose here. Nice, big breath in. And full breath out. And breath in. And breath out. And with the hands clasped, either stay here or start to drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. If this feels like too much sensation, you can release the hands down along the side. So same as our hip opener, what's the appropriate amount of sensation for today's practice? And instead of getting frustrated with what we can or cannot do, how can we let it be information from the body? And what's our body telling us by what we are able to feel or not feel right now? And use your next inhale to slowly lift the head back to center. And then your next exhale to drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. Next inhale, slowly lift the head back to center. If you still have the hands clasped, release them. Nice. And then let the head fall a little left and right, nice and slow. From there, shift off to one hip. Swing the legs out in front of you. And then lower all the way down onto your back. So as you come onto your back, you can leave the soles of the feet on the floor and then rock the hips a little bit side to start. Almost like a windshield wipering of the knees. And then hug the knees in towards the chest. So a few different options. The hands can come onto the shins. Hands can clasp. The hands can come onto the knees. Nice. And then take the kneecaps in small circles, massaging out through the low back. And then from here, bring soles of the feet down to meet the floor. And then use an inhale to lift the hips and then lower the hips back down. From here, right ankle comes across the left thigh, figure 4. So more options with figure 4. The intention is an outer hip stretch on the right side. You can get there in a few different ways. It'll be different for each of our bodies. You might want to take the right hand and give a slight push of the right knee forward. Maybe you'll want to slide the hands behind the left thigh and draw the knee in towards the chest. Or maybe the hands will come to the shin. Whatever you do, try not to put more tension through the head, neck, and shoulders with trying to open through the hip. So for me, I know that if I wrap my hands around my thigh, I might crunch through the neck. So I want this practice to open the hip, but also not create tension elsewhere. So find your spot. We'll take 3 breaths there. A big breath in. And full breath out. Breath in. And breath out. Another full breath in. And full breath out. And then from here, nice and slow, unwrap the legs. Soles of both feet meet the mat. Let the feet come a little bit wider. Windshield wipe through the legs side to side. From here, hug the knees in towards the chest. And then bring the knees over the hips, shins parallel to the floor, and then let the feet just fall right down to the floor. Bring the arms along the side body, press the hands into the mat as you inhale, lift the hips up. And then as you exhale, lower back down. From here, figure 4 second side. So the left ankle comes across the right thigh. Find that little opening through the left hip. Again, play around what option feels good on this side. So 2 sides of our body are not the same. They're 2 halves that make us whole. So what we need on the left and the right side might be totally different, and that's okay. And 2 more breaths here. And slowly unwrap the top leg. Soles of both feet will meet the mat. Take that little windshield wiper side to side. And then from here, a supine twist. So hug the knees in towards the chest. Bring the shins parallel to the floor, knees over hips. And then let your entire body roll over to the right side. As you arrive, scoot your right hip back in space. And then think about the whole pelvis facing towards the right so that your rotation or your twist is going to come belly button to collarbones. So maybe you kind of naturally start to open as the left shoulder falls towards the floor. Maybe you want a little bit more sensation and it feels safe and comfortable in your body. You'll push your right elbow into the mat and then scoot your right shoulder over to the right a little bit. And then option, arms can come out into a T. Or arms can come along the side body, a little bit more of an anatomical neutral, which might make it feel better to drop the left shoulder towards the floor. Nice. Let the eyes close or the eyelids become heavy. And see if you can start to bring more awareness back into your breath again. Maybe as you notice that, you want to come out of the twist a little bit. Maybe your breath is saying it's hard to breathe with as deeply as you've gone. And 2 more breaths here. Breath in. Breath out. And inhale. And exhale. From here, hug the belly button back towards the spine, lift the legs back to center. So you can press into the feet, shift the hips back to center. And then that same thing here. So knees over hips, shins parallel to the mat. And then let yourself roll all the way onto the left side. You might still want to hop the left leg back in, or left hip back in space a little bit. And then from belly button to collarbones, we start to open up the chest. And take 4 breaths here. As you're ready, belly button draws back towards the spine. Slowly lift the legs back to center. Press the soles of the feet into the mat, hips come back to center. Nice, and then one final bridge pose here. Press the feet into the mat, press the hands and the arms into the mat. Inhale, lift the hips. Nice. Take a breath in. And the breath out. Another breath in. And as you breathe out, slowly bring the hips back down to meet the mat. From here, walk your feet to the wide edges of the mat or to the floor, and then let the knees fall in towards center. So you're in control of the sensation or how the shape feels. You could walk the feet closer to you, or you could walk the feet farther away. As you walk the feet farther away and then knock the knees in, feels a little bit more relaxed. And then from here, give yourself a little cat-cow through the pelvis. Nice. And find a place where your low back feels supported. And then arms can cross over the head in a constructive rest shape, as though you're giving yourself a hug. Arms could sweep up overhead, wrists crossing. Or arms could come down along the side body. Any option or variation. This can also be a nice time to bring a blanket over the body, or at least over the abdomen for a little bit more weight. And then if the eyelids are still open, let them become a little bit heavier. And take a full breath in. And a full breath out. And breath in. And breath out. And inhale, fill the lungs bottom to top. And empty out top to bottom. Inhale, fill bottom to top. And empty top to bottom. And 3 more times like that. Breath in. And breath out. Now start to notice your feet and your hips and the areas of your spine and your arms and your head that make contact with the floor. And observe what it's like to lean into that support. And then to have that support lean back into you and catch or hold you. And then what would it be like if you encouraged your body to soften even more into those points of contact? And let it be a conversation. That if it's hard to soften and relax with that first request, that's okay. It's a process. Maybe if you ask again, it'll happen. You can find a little bit of ease through various muscles. Maybe today is not the day for that to happen. Anywhere along the spectrum of feelings is fine. And then from there, bring your awareness back into your breath. And full breath in. And full breath out. And start to let your mind focus solely on your breath. Know that the mind will wander. And when it does, and immediately draw the attention back to the breath. Someone once explained this process to me like training a puppy. So if you ask a puppy to sit and stay, and you start to walk away, the puppy will follow you. And so it takes time and repetition to allow the puppy to sit and stay and wait without it getting distracted or moving away or following you. And so each time your thoughts kind of start to take you away from the experience of being right here, right now, think of a sweet, gentle puppy and being kind with yourself as you would be to that dog, and bringing your attention back to your breath. And perhaps counting each breath in and each breath out, or simply feeling into the sensation of breathing. And you're welcome to stay in this shape for as long as you'd like. And you could also find a shape that perhaps feels a little bit more comfortable or more restorative, walking the knees back in underneath the hips. And if there is a wall nearby, you could swing the legs up the wall. Or if there is a couch or a bunch of pillows, you could bring the legs on top of the pillows or the couch to get the legs a little above the heart. And then as you find whatever shape you're in, allow each of your breaths out to be a little bit longer than each of your breaths in. And perhaps bring a tiny tuck into your chin as a signal to the body that it is okay to soften and release. And allow yourself to fall into the support that is beneath you. And to know that wherever you are in this moment, there's no more work that needs to be done. And there's no other place that you need to be, no other thing you need to be doing, except to be right here, right now with yourself. And reconnecting and grounding.